Produced by Victoire.
The topic that Matthew and I talked about right now. So we'll keep rolling here and we'll keep going right into it. Paul, switching gears quickly, Matthew brought up to me something about WrestleMania 7. So I just wanted to touch on this very shortly here. The WrestleMania, Matthew, I'm going to kick it down to you. What was the story about WrestleMania 7, Power and Glory, Legion of Doom?
Well, it was a very short match, right, Paul? It was like a
A minute.
40-second match. Not, yeah. Hercules was right out of the ring. You had a big elbow thing, so I don't know if you were nursing an injury.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just curious, like, obviously, I guess you were injured. Hercules was injured for him to just get thrown out of the ring like that.
Well, you're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky you saw him for a minute. I'm not going to take the story because obviously I wasn't there. But how about this? He wasn't going to go out there at all. Take it, Roma.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah. So I went into Vince. I just left the hospital in LA. And I said, hey, Vince, I have to talk to you right now. So he says, could it wait? I said, nope, it can't wait. He looked down at my arm, bandaged up, and he goes, what's going on? I said, I can't wrestle. He goes, what? I said, listen, Ray retore his groin. I said, and they told me if I land on my elbow, I'm all done. I could lose my arm. So he went nuts.
Oh.
And he said, some nice choice words. And he goes, you got to go in there. You have to go in there. And I said, I can't, Vince. Listen, I'm not going to lose my arm. Right. I said, you going to take care of me if I lose my arm? And he goes, you know I will, Roma. You know I will. And I went, you're going to take care of me. I lose my arm, huh? He goes, yeah. I said, okay. I said, then we'll go. We'll do it. So I went out to Ray and Hercules, and I said, listen, just get to the ring. If you could, like kind of run on your tiptoes, and take small strides. Just get knocked out of the ring. I'll have them hoist me up, hit me with their finish, and we'll be done. Mm-hmm. I said, because Vince needs me. He goes, he needs us in that ring. We have to give him at least 1 minute. Mm-hmm. Because, Vince had said, can you give me 10? And we're like, are you crazy? We can't give you 10 minutes. And he goes, well, then he got down to 5. He goes, give me 1. I just need 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. So I said, okay, fine. So I went to Ray and I gave him the bad news that we were going to do 1 minute. So, like I said, we got down to the ring. We jumped them because we figured if we get a hot start, it'll just be better that way instead of trying to lock up. It doesn't work. We got to eliminate. Mm-hmm. We got to eliminate them. So they basically threw him out of the ring. They hoisted me up. They hit me. My elbow was all. I actually had a skateboard elbow pad. They wrapped that around it also. Extra protection. I took the bump off his shoulders. 1, 2, 3. That was the end of it. That was it.
Yeah, that's
I did a favor.
I mean, do you guys agree that's kind of like a stiff bump, that move?
Well, the only thing I cared about was not landing on my elbow.
Okay.
When a doctor tells you can lose your arm, you're trying real hard not to land on that elbow.
Yeah.
In general, Paul, did you ever feel like you had leverage to say, like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that move tonight?
I could have said no. I could have said absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Look, my word is my bond. That's probably a lot of people. Has that changed over the course of time? Absolutely. Nobody's word's worth shit anymore. Mm-hmm. But to me, Vince's word was his bond. Now, I didn't lose my arm to find out the truth. So again, it all comes down to I trusted him. I believed him. So we went out there and I performed. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I go back to what you said though, Paul, like, kudos for what you did for going in and working there, but I can't believe that Vince would even allow somebody with the potential to lose. Well, I can now, painting the picture of Vince McMahon on a personal level. He would actually risk somebody potentially losing their arm because you
Risk
could, yeah. But Mario,
Amir,
yeah.
Amir, if we were in person together,
Mhm.
I would take you by those two traps right now and I would shake you so your head would be going like this. Because you're talking about a man that when somebody died in the ring,
Hmm.
the next match went out.
Yeah.
You think he's going to give a shit about an elbow?
Yeah. That's disgusting, man. Honestly, disgusting. Matthew, you want to say something?
Well, I agree with Mario completely, and that just you have background in law, Mario, but do you remember like the terms of the contract where I believe, and who knows, but if say Roma got injured, um, McMahon probably would have just got out of the contract and released Roma and said, "Too bad, son."
Yeah, listen, but back then, I still even at that time, it's you don't get paid unless you work.
Hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean? There were no guaranteed contracts. I read my contract, which was not a money contract. That was a I own you contract.
Hmm.
Um, so when I say contract, they go, "Wow, Mario Mancini signed a contract with the WWF. I wonder how much it was for." No, it wasn't that kind of contract. It was a licensing contract. It was, I own you lock, stock, and barrel.
Hmm.
I'm reading this contract and listen, with a high school education going, gee, he owns my name now. That's my mom's name. Mancini is my mother's maiden name. I'm like, geez, that's my mom's name. He owns it. So,
Yeah.
so
Pretty messed up.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like, um, Vince, uh, there was no payoff. Well, there should have been. Listen, this is what should have happened. I'm going to give you an example. Break Hogan's leg, come back to the AWA with the title.
Hmm.
Just break his leg. Just break his leg. And Sheik did business. Why did Sheik do business? Because Vince said to him, drop the strap and I'll make you tag team champion.
Hmm.
I'll put another belt on you. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Now, Roma went out there risking losing his arm. I mean, he could have at least said, listen, you got a pulled groin. You can barely walk. Your arm's all screwed up. I need you guys to go out there and do this for me. In 3 months, I'll put the straps on you. You can do this for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have been nice if he paid him back like that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? For going out there and doing that. But um, it's funny. I watched a clip of Sid Justice, and he said the biggest mistake he ever made was going to the WWF. Before he went to the WWF, the WCW offered him 750,000.
Mm-hmm.
It was Ted Turner. Ted Turner was throwing money around like it was nothing,
Yeah.
like it was confetti, and he didn't do it. He said biggest mistake. Vince, with the exception of Hogan, with the exception of The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and maybe Andre, Vince kept all the money.
Yeah. Yeah. It certainly seems that way. And, you know, like you said, what baffled my mind is, Paul, after you did that, that was such a gracious move at WrestleMania 7. Pretty much right after that was the beginning of the end of Power and Glory. You did that one more pay-per-view, and that was it. You were gone after SummerSlam 91. Yeah, just a lot more makes sense. The more we go into these stories, the more we understand about Vince McMahon and the personal aspect of him. And it's true. I mean, that it wasn't even
Well,
rewarded.
well, he like Pat, they want to be the creators,
Hmm.
right? Of all that makes it to the top of the wrestling world. Well, they didn't create Power and Glory.
Right.
They can never lay claim to it.
Yeah.
So, why push Power and Glory? It's not our doing.
Yeah.
We can never walk around with our head up like this and go, yeah, we did that. They're the best tag team in the world. Yeah. What? They can't walk around and do that.
Yeah. True.
What they have to do, they had to dismantle us.
Yep. They did the
But look
same.
at today.
Hmm?
Look at today, though. One of my favorite things to do. I belong to a lot of wrestling pages.
Mhm.
I do.
Okay.
A lot of retro wrestling pages. And some of them will put something negative in there about me. And one of my favorite things in the world is I'll make a comment on it. And they'll go, "Holy shit, is this really Mark?" And I go, "Yeah, it is." And they're like, "Oh my God, I can't," or they'll say something good about me and I'll say, "I really appreciate it." And they're like, "Holy shit, it's really him."
Mm.
While I'm scrolling these things, there's always Power and Glory. Underrated, could have been the tag team champions. Why didn't they get the push they deserve? Number one comment over and over and over and over again. Best finish in tag team wrestling history.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. It's
Yeah.
that
Best finish
powerplex,
ever.
that
Yeah.
powerplex, and
Yeah.
it's been attempted to be duplicated but never replicated.
Yeah.
That powerplex, Paul.
Number one comment is the best finish in tag team wrestling history. That's the number one comment.
Yeah. Precision, man. The timing was so perfect. And the impact as well, though. It's like the bam with the suplex, then boom with the splash. It was just
That's
perfect.
Roma. That's Roma.
It was
Yep.
beauty,
But it didn't get us anywhere. You know what I mean? Got us notoriety, but because again, I go back to because they didn't create Power and Glory.
Mhm.
They never thought it was going to take off. It did.
Mhm.
It was out of their control.
Yeah.
And they finally said, you know what? We can't squash them. We'll disband them.
Yep.
And that's what they did.
Well, I'll tell you what, it will continue because seekers of the truth out there, you are to Powerplex right now, that subscribe button. Hit the like, share with your friends and family. And for any wrestlers out there, wrestlers that want to be, people who want to be into wrestling, go and check out Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling up in Connecticut if you're in the Connecticut area. Even if you have to travel, I encourage you to do so. I do not encourage anybody to do any backyard wrestling. It's total trash. Forget about it. Throw it out. It's a waste of your time and a waste of your body and health. So, any closing statements, gentlemen, before we close out this week?
Yeah, I got to go to Paradise Alley right now.
Okay.
No. Thank our guest for coming on the show. Appreciate him always.
Yeah.
Yep. We thank you,
Thank you,
Matthew.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you lay the smack down, and we will see you next week right here on Power and Glory, the podcast. Take care. God bless.
God
Take care.